Imagine this. The world is asleep, but the ocean is alive with secrets. It's midnight on the Mediterranean. The air is thick with salt and silence, broken only by the distant churn of engines. Out of the darkness, a massive unmarked ship glides silently. No flag, no tracking, a ghost among the waves. Its lights are dimmed, its identity hidden from satellites and patrols. Now multiply that by hundreds. Imagine a vast armada, scattered across the world's oceans, each vessel part of a secretive network. This is the Invisible Empire, a clandestine fleet moving Russian oil, slipping past the world's most powerful navies and intelligence agencies, defying sanctions with every voyage. This isn't fiction. It's the reality of global trade in 2026, a shadow economy on a scale never seen before, where billions of dollars flow in the dark and the rules of the old world no longer apply. Every day, over $1 billion worth of sanctioned oil moves through this network. Deals are struck in coded messages, and oil changes hands in the dead of night, far from prying eyes. When the West sanctioned Russia in 2022, they believed they could choke off its oil revenue and cripple its economy. But the world's hunger for energy proved stronger than any embargo. Russia responded by building its own system, a parallel maritime world, operating outside the rules, where ships switch flags and identities as easily as changing clothes. Over 1,000 vessels now make up this ghost fleet, a force larger than the US Navy itself. It's a floating city of tankers, always on the move, always just out of reach. These aren't warships, but aging tankers, bought cheap and pressed into risky service. Many are decades old, patched together and barely seaworthy, but they carry fortunes in their holds, crewed by those willing to gamble for high rewards. They brave storms, pirates, and the constant threat of disaster. For some, it's a chance at riches. For others, it's the only way to survive. This is one of the biggest sanctions evasion schemes in history. A new empire rising in the shadows, reshaping the balance of power at sea. It's a hidden world, rewiring global energy routes, creating new alliances and rivalries as oil finds its way to eager buyers. How does such a massive operation stay invisible? Who are the masterminds pulling the strings from behind closed doors? And what happens when things go wrong, when a ship sinks, or oil spills into fragile ecosystems, far from help? The answers reveal a dangerous new chapter in globalization, where economic warfare has pushed vital resources into a lawless gray zone, and the risks are as vast as the rewards. The consequences are only beginning to surface, and the world is just starting to reckon with the true cost of this invisible empire. In 2022, the West launched what it called a financial war on Russia, aiming to cripple the country's economy in response to its invasion of Ukraine. The world watched as leaders from the US, Europe, and their allies announced sweeping sanctions, promising to hit Russia where it hurt most: its energy revenues. The centerpiece of these sanctions was a bold move, targeting Russian oil exports with strict price caps and sweeping insurance bans, hoping to choke off the Kremlin's main source of income. The plan was simple in theory. Cut Russia off from Western-controlled shipping and insurance, and its oil exports would grind to a halt. Western companies would refuse to carry Russian oil, and global trade would leave Moscow isolated. Analysts and commentators predicted disaster for Russia's economy. Headlines warned of a looming collapse, with forecasts of plummeting oil revenues and a shrinking GDP. But the collapse never came. Russian oil exports remained surprisingly stable, defying expectations and confounding Western policymakers. Instead, Russia quietly built a new system behind the scenes, adapting with remarkable speed and creativity. Through a web of shell companies in places like Dubai and Hong Kong, Russia snapped up hundreds of old tankers, vessels too outdated for mainstream fleets, but perfect for this new covert mission. For Russia, age didn't matter, only capacity and deniability. Within months, a vast shadow fleet emerged, first dozens, then hundreds, and by 2026, over 1,000 tankers were quietly moving Russian oil across the globe, often under new flags and hidden ownership. Russia even set up its own insurance companies, issuing paperwork that was often meaningless outside a handful of friendly ports, but enough to keep the oil flowing. Payment systems shifted away from the dollar. with deals increasingly settled in Chinese yuan and Indian rupees, further insulating Russia from Western financial pressure. The West tried to build a wall. Russia simply dug a tunnel underneath, finding new routes and partners to keep its oil trade alive. The result was a resilient, highly profitable oil smuggling superhighway, one that not only survived sanctions, but thrived in spite of them. In the end, sanctions meant to isolate Russia, instead, fueled the rise of a parallel global trade network, one that continues to reshape the world's energy markets today. What makes a ghost ship? It's not just the rusted hull or the faded name, it's the layers of secrecy, the deliberate steps taken to erase a ship's true identity from the world's gaze. Ownership is hidden behind a maze of shell companies, stretching from Panama to the Marshall Islands, and beyond. Each company is a mask, a legal fiction designed to shield the real decision-makers from scrutiny. If caught, the paper company dissolves overnight, leaving behind nothing but shredded documents and empty offices. The real owners simply vanish, ready to set up shop under a new name, in a new jurisdiction. Flags of convenience are key to this deception. By flying the flag of a distant nation, ships can sidestep regulations and inspections. Lax registries like Gabon or Palau turn a blind eye for a fee, asking few questions and demanding little oversight. For the right price, almost any ship can find a home. Some ships sail with no flag at all, stateless, untraceable, and invisible to most authorities. These vessels slip through legal cracks, operating in a world without rules. Insurance, not from Lloyd's of London, but from obscure Russian firms. Policies that are little more than paper, worthless in a real emergency, offering no real protection. If disaster strikes, an oil spill, a collision, there's no one to pay for cleanup, no company to hold accountable. The ocean bears the cost. Crews are recruited globally, often from countries with high unemployment. They're paid well for the risk, but their identities are hard to trace, and their contracts are often short and secretive. These men and women work on aging, poorly maintained ships, facing not just the dangers of the sea, but also legal and physical threats from those who profit from secrecy. The crew is expendable, frontline soldiers in an economic war, often left behind if things go wrong. This is a machine built for secrecy, moving from one shadowy port to the next, always staying one step ahead of the law. Every tactic is designed to create opacity and deniability, ensuring that the true story of these ships remains hidden. The Ghost Fleet thrives in the world's blind spots where law, accountability, and sunlight rarely reach. The Ghost Fleet's greatest weapon? Disappearing. Ships are required to broadcast their location via AIS, but shadow tankers routinely switch it off, vanishing for days or weeks. The main reason: ship-to-ship transfers in international waters. A Russian tanker meets another vessel, both go dark, and oil is pumped from one to the other. The oil's origin is now obscured, sometimes blended with other crude paperwork falsified. Multiple transfers make tracing impossible. Brokers, captains, and port officials all profit from this shell game. Russia has even added military escorts, raising the stakes and turning commercial evasion into a potential military flashpoint. The result: a sophisticated system of deception, protected by force. Behind the Ghost Fleet are the seafarers, men risking everything for a paycheck. Recruited from India, the Philippines, Turkey, they're lured by high wages and short-term contracts. Life aboard is dangerous. Old ships, failing equipment, minimal safety. The risk of fire, breakdown, or disaster is constant, and help is far away. If caught, it's the crew who face arrest and prosecution, not the hidden owners. They're expendable, paid for their silence and risk. Many are stranded at sea for months, unable to go ashore or contact family. If wages aren't paid, they have no recourse, no unions, no legal protection. Their welfare is sacrificed for profit. They are the forgotten workforce of a multi-billion-dollar shadow economy. Their safety and rights are the first casualties. The Ghost Fleet is an environmental disaster waiting to happen. Most ships are over 20 years old, rusting, poorly maintained, and uninsured. Each is a potential oil spill threatening the world's busiest and most sensitive waterways. If a spill occurs, there's no real insurance. Cleanup costs fall on coastal states. Recent incidents, damaged cables, explosions, oil spills, are warnings of worse to come. Experts say it's not if, but when a major disaster strikes. The pursuit of profit has put entire marine ecosystems at risk. A secret fleet needs customers, and Russia has found them. India and China are now Russia's top buyers, importing millions of barrels daily at steep discounts. For them, it's simple economics. Cheaper oil means billions saved, fueling growth and controlling inflation. They justify it as national interest, not politics. Turkey acts as a blending hub, laundering Russian oil's origins. Dubai is the financial nerve center, handling deals and payments outside Western oversight. Sanctioning these buyers isn't realistic. Their economies are too important. They know it and keep buying with impunity. The shadow market thrives because the world's biggest economies want it to. The ghost fleet sails on, powered by demand. What began as a stopgap is now permanent. The ghost fleet is a parallel shipping universe, its own insurance, brokers, and ports. Even if the war ends, the network won't disappear. It's too profitable and adaptable. It now moves Iranian oil too, serving any state outside the Western Order. Melting Arctic ice will soon open new routes, making the fleet even harder to track. The rules of global trade have changed. Sanctions are no longer a silver bullet. The world is split-regulated and shadow economies, side by side. The invisible empire of the seas is here to stay, casting a long shadow over the future of global commerce.